Hi, welcome to US Classic Muscle Cars. Please enjoy the next video and don't forget to subscribe.
Hi, my name's Jim and I've owned this car for over 40 years. I found this car in the city of Chicago in a one-car garage. I paid $750 for it in 1980. And it was rough, it needed restoration. I'd gotten married a week earlier and I told my young bride we need to buy this car because it's fun when it's put together and restored. It's very enjoyable. So here it is 40 years later. I had it completely restored back in the early 80s, so I've been enjoying the car for over 30 years.
Tell the viewers what make and model we're looking at.
And of course, if you don't live with these cars, it is a 1955 356 Porsche, and it's got a sunroof in it, which makes it very rare. That very few cars came through with a sunroof, especially in the States here. So I could tell you a few more features about the car. It has the Super, it has the big engine in it. Not many cars came through with the Super motor. Only about 100 cars in 1955 came through with the motor being the high output and with the sunroof. And a very unique feature is actually inside the car here, there's an 8-day wind-up clock that's sitting in the dash, in the glove box door. And that clock is very rare too because of the situation with the door to open and close. You couldn't have an electric clock, it had to be a wind-up. So it's a very rare feature to the car.
How long did it take to restore this?
So for me to get it up on the road, it did take me about 3 years to get it road ready. And I did all the mechanical and electrical on the car, and the part I couldn't do was the body work, so I had a professional guy do the body for me and clean it all up and make it like you see it today. So I have owned the car, like I say, for over 40 years. I've owned it long enough to restore it twice. So I really love the car. If you take a look at the license plate, the stickers kind of tell the story.
Right. You know what? That is so cool how you did that.
So
you know, out of all the cars that I've filmed, I've never seen anyone do that. That is nice.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen to that license plate someday, but I'm hoping to keep the car with the plate for a long time.
Sure. Now, what are we looking at back here? We're looking at the...
Okay, so the tail lights, they call these beehives because of what they look like and their shape, and they did these cars from 1948 to 1965, and the pre-A cars, which is up to 1955, which is what this car is, had beehive taillights. So a lot of people identify these cars as beehive cars because they're pre-A's. They're the first version of this is the first Porsche. So these cars are very desirable, and it's the predecessor, of course, to the 911.
Sure. Now, what is the type or the manufacturer of paint that you have? It's very becoming.
Yeah, so this is again the color I chose to do the car in is called Guards Red.
Okay.
It's an 80s Porsche red because when I did the car in the 80s, my wife wanted it to be with a nowadays color for some reason, and so we were kind of a team effort on the car. What she wanted, I did. So it was more of a Turkish red when I got it, more of a darker red. And but we did a lighter red, which is more of a Ferrari-ish looking red, or well, actually Guards Red Porsche color. So yeah, I think it's a 3-stage job on here. I don't know the paint that well. I'm more of a mechanical guy, but it really makes the car look how it looks. I think the paint does it.
Social media, you can always
Let's take a look at the interior.
2022 cavalcade of plates.
The vehicle has, I've never redone the steering wheel from 1955. I have put a wrap on it. They are steering wheel restoration companies to redo the wheel.
Right.
I still need to do that. There's some stuff I could do to make the car a little more pure. But the fun thing about it is I did send all the gauges out to be redone. And so the mileage is original after redoing the engine. Excuse me. It only has about 7,000 miles on the car.
Wow.
The engine, transmission. Only got 7,000 on it. Pardon me, I'm sorry.
The same thing. And then the door panels are nice and clean.
Yeah.
This is a gem.
So yes, it's got. This is an interior kit I did buy for the car, so it's not original. It's been replaced.
Gotcha. You know what? People are going to appreciate it being court plate and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
look at these wiper blades. They're like,
Yeah.
like 10 inches.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they are maybe 10 inches. So let me tell you the most unique thing about the car. It's the sunroof. And in 1955, you could not buy this car with a sunroof.
Right.
So if you wanted a sunroof, Porsche cut a hole in a perfectly new car and had a third-party sunroof company called Goldie Sunroof. They came out and cut a hole in the roof of the car and built the sunroof into the car. These cars were only $3,000 in 1955. With a sunroof, the car was almost $6,000. Nobody ordered the sunroof.
You know, it almost looks like a James Bond car.
People have said that about it. It has that little bit of a flair to it.
And then let's talk about these rims and wheels here.
Yeah, so it has, these are just chrome wheels. When they used to race these cars in the 50s, they would basically drive the car to the track, pop the hubcaps off, and they would put some tape over the lights and they would race the cars.
Wow.
That's how they were. They were kind of bulletproof. So I tried to make the car have an outlaw look because I couldn't find bumpers for the car in the early 80s. So I put the Nerf bars on there. And with no hubcaps, the way they raced them, and Nerf bars, this is how they made the car for the track.
How rare is this car? How many were made?
So what I've been told, my research I've come up with, it's the sunroof story. There's 20 cars left in the world with the sunroof. So that drives the price of the car up. And amazingly, I almost didn't buy the car because it had a sunroof.
So the $750 might be $1,000 today, right?
Might be a little north of a few thousand, yeah. But it sure is a fun car, and it's been labor of love. And if my wife has her way, she'd have me sell it, but I'd rather drive it. So we're still dealing with that a little bit. Yeah, let me show you the motor real quick, and so you know what pushes this car along. Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying this year's cavalcade of
So this is a proper Porsche. The motor's in the rear, and it is a numbers matching car. This is the engine that came with it in 1955, and in fact, I'm still looking for air cleaners for it. If you notice, there's no air cleaners on the engine. They made the car in two different flavors. You get this 1500 motor came in a normal, it was called, which made 35 horse, or you could get the 1500 Super, and this is the Super engine. It's got the bigger carburetors, the hotter cam. It makes 70 horse.
Oh, wow.
So it's like double the horse of the regular car. So the car only weighs about 1,500 pounds. So when you put 70 horse with 1,500, it does pretty well. It's a pretty nimble car.
And what kind of suspension?
And so what they did with these cars back in the day, it was one of the first cars to have torsion bar suspension. So it doesn't really have springs under it.
Okay.
It has torsion bars all the way around. Very innovative for the day.
Right.
And why don't I show you under the hood real quick,
Okay.
under the bonnet. Let me show you. Hi guys, let me sneak through. All right, so on these cars, this is the trunk. Nowadays you would call it a frunk,
Right.
because of what's going on in the world. But this is the original way it went. You had the 6-volt battery tucked down underneath the spare tire. And of course they gave you a jack, so if you got a flat, you could change a tire with it. But here's the tank. It holds 13 gallons of gas. And you could put aviation fuel in here, the size of the cap. You could
Howard won't mind over there. He
yeah,
won't
you
mind.
put some avgas in here, and I've done that. I've put some 100 octane in here, and it smells wonderful. But yeah, so that's the gas tank.
Neat. That is neat.
And then there's a spare, real basic car, and it is a 6-volt car.
There you go. What about car show awards? Have you won car show awards?
I've really never put it in a car show.
Okay.
I've just built it to drive it and enjoy it, but my buddy's big into airplanes. He said, you got to have this thing at the show, so I brought it over today to put it in the show. So here it is.
Which buddy, Howard or Jim or both?
Well, Howard and Bob, it was Bob's idea to get the car here, but Howard with his Howard is another story.
To all of our volunteers.
Thanks for watching my video about my car. Thank you.
The little filter we brought out.